What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Shabazz. Welcome to the channel. What's going on? I missed you guys. This is part 4 of me rating every One Piece arc. If you haven't watched parts 1 through 3, I highly recommend you do that first. But again, if you don't care and you just want to see my handsome face, then welcome to the channel. We left off at Marineford, in the best arc, in my opinion, to date in One Piece. And we talked a little bit more about the post-war, how like the Luffy and Rayleigh dynamic, how Rayleigh is gonna teach Luffy how to become stronger, how to be a better captain, because the road from here on out is straight Yonkos, other warlords, and high-end pirates that you gotta face. And at this point in the story, Luffy nor the Straw Hats as a group do not stack up. So really recommended that take 2 years off, get stronger, train a little bit, and then you guys can go from there. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit more about the arcs that the Straw Hats go on post the 2-year time skip. But before all that, drop a like, subscribe if you're new, tell a friend to tell a friend, and enjoy the video. So, part 2 of Saboodi, I thought this arc was pretty valid. Actually, no, I think it was decent. I think it was decent for what it represented. It represented each one of them, like each Straw Hat, one by one, coming back to the crew. I'm not gonna mention the time skip a lot. I mentioned in the last video that Zoro trained with Mihawk, which was dope to see. Learned about hockey, learned about Artemis hockey and all that. Sanji trained with Ivankov. Nami trained with some Sky Peens, I guess. They're like in like weather. It was like in the Sky Island. Chopper traded with some, I guess, some animals and some other humans, like helping them like coexist with each other. Robin was with the Revolutionary Army. Frankie was with Dr. Vegapon's lab. Brooke was kind of just wandering around and became a pop sensation. Soul King Brooke. But I feel like the arc for what it represented, like it was a subtle flex. Not as big of a flex as the next arc that we have, but it was a subtle flex in like what the Straw Hats, like the mayhem that just even mentioning being a Straw Hat, what it represented. Because it was like a fake pirate crew. They was jacking, they were the Straw Hats, and everybody believed them. They had like runged up mad pirates just to be a part of the crew. It was a fake crew, but like seeing that, like just the name of a Straw Hat Luffy, like that was just like, oh snap, like they still like on his ass. But it was a nice scene where Rayleigh helped out Luffy and the crew escape, and then like Luffy said thank you to Rayleigh, and then Rayleigh cried a little bit because I was just like his pupil, you know, like I told him everything he knew, so it was like, man, it was like a crash course because like Rayleigh's old as hell. So I feel like the knowledge that he knows, especially about hockey, you can't really teach that in 2 years. You can only teach the basics. So he taught Luffy the basics, and guess like in terms of like the hockey gets stronger when you fight other hockey users. So like it's like the iron sharpening iron kind of thing. So it was just, I thought the arc was decent. Nothing really too crazy. The subtle flex of Zoro, Sanji, Luffy, a little subtle flex. But Fishman Island was valid. This was like the first true arc that the Straw Hats were on together. Now when I said Saboodi Part 2 was a subtle flex, Fishman Island was basically like those, like it was like playing Madden on rookie mode. Like it was like awesome, like yo, like y'all not even all that. Like we're not even on that. Like, y'all not on our level right now. They fought Fishman. Like it was actually, it was valid. I'm gonna keep it that valid because there are some highlights, especially about the future of the story, that's gonna be useful. But for like the arc itself, I feel like the arc was just valid. It wasn't too crazy. It wasn't like Arlong Park crazy, but for the first arc of the Straw Hats coming back together, it was cool. It was subtle flex. People got new forms. Chopper got new forms. Like, Luffy showed off his Conqueror's hockey, knocking mad heads out. Like, it was cool. It was cool to see. All right. Punk Hazard. I thought this arc, it kind of dulled. It has some dull moments and it has some high moments. I'm gonna put it at amazing because for what it did, like it was one of those like we get to see. So Punk Hazard it was an island that. So for those who don't know, in a 2-year time skip, a lot happened that we don't even know. Like to this day, the extent of what happened in a 2-year time skip. The one thing we do know is that Akainu and Akiji fought to become the next fleet admiral of the Marines, and Punk Hazard was where they fought. So they plopped them. They fought for like 10 days straight, and unfortunately, Akainu won. And basically, what's left of the island, half of it is ice, and half of it is like fire, like lava, like straight, like it's horrible. But this is where we see Law. Law's a warlord now, and his plan was basically, I'm sorry, his plan was to basically screw up Doflamingo's plan. His plan. So you got Kaido. Kaido's a Yonko of the sea, right? Basically, I think he's one of the strongest people, like top 3 strongest people in the One Piece verse at this moment. It's him. Doflamingo is another warlord. He works under him. And Caesar the Clown, which was the main antagonist of this arc, he was under Doflamingo. Law was like, yo, like I want to destroy this whole operation, like, because he doesn't fuck with Doflamingo at all. But you had a lot of hype moments in here, Punk Hazard. Like you had Luffy, like being told by Zoro, like, yo, like stop shitting around, like come on, like we didn't train 2 years for you to be losing to no names, bro. Like get your shit together, bro. Like, and that's why I fuck with Zoro the most out of anybody, because Luffy listens to Zoro more than anybody else in the crew. Maybe Nami, but definitely Zoro. Zoro is his right hand man, and Zoro's not afraid to call out Luffy on this bullshit. You feel me? So that arc, like Punk has that moment between them two, like, you're like, get your shit together. You are the captain of this crew. Like, come on, son. And then you had a Snow Devil for user named Monet. She was shitting bricks when Zoro was about to slice it. And I wish I could play the clip, but I'm not gonna play the clip. For me, you just look up Zoro slice Monet, and you would know what I'm talking about. But that was arc, and then you have, oh my god, it was a lot. They packed a lot in this arc. Damn, shit. Like it was a lot. It was a lot, and I thought it was like all in all a pretty dope arc because it was just dope. Dressrosa, goated, bro. Dressrosa, this is where. So Punk Hazard was the first island where they reached the New World, but I feel like the first real arc was Dressrosa. As dope as Punk Hazard was, and he has a lot of good moments in there. Dressrosa was one of those arcs though, but like everybody that was there got their shot. The arc was amazing because Doflamingo is one of the best villains that One Piece has. Like one of the best villains. He's a menace. He's a menace to society, bro. The fight between Luffy and Doflamingo was amazing. Zoro showing off his ornament hockey, amazing. You got God Usopp, Spring in Life, amazing. But the main thing is Luffy. So Luffy, the Straw Hats is a crew of, at this point, a crew of 9. A crew of 9 at this point, right? But this arc introduced the grand fleet of the Straw Hats. So like anytime Luffy's in trouble or needs the crew, and I might make a video on that later because so he was about to come through, the fleet will pull up and wreak havoc for Luffy. Like Luffy, he didn't want them to be like join the crew, but they're allies. And if you're gonna be a serious pirate, like a big name pirate, you're gonna need allies to take over the world. When Whitebeard had the war with Marineford, he had a lot of pirates from the New World, or who were his allies at this point, come along and fight alongside him. So Luffy's gonna have a part of that kind of like high level Yonko status or high level pirate status. He's gonna need allies to help him accomplish his goals. So Dressrosa allowed him to have that fleet of these. And these are not pushovers. Like, these are like high level pirates who can give the work to a lot of pirates in the One Piece world. And Luffy's like the head honcho, which is dope to see. But I don't know. I thought the arc was amazing. I thought this arc was goated. One of the better arcs that we've seen in One Piece. So Zoe is next, and I was torn between amazing and valid, but I'm gonna leave it at amazing because of how Oda wrote it. Oda wrote it in a way where details from Punk Hazard came back here. So this is spanning hundreds of chapters, hundreds of episodes of like Punk Hazard was the first New World arc that they did through. So they went to Punk Hazard, they went to Dressrosa, and now they're at Zoe. Zoe had a lot of things that were valid. You have Jack, introducing of a billion berry bounty. For the first, at this point, he was the highest bounty in the series because he was a subordinate of Kaido, who was the king of beasts, the strongest creature on the earth. Because Viper was the strongest man on the earth, Kaido was the strongest creature, strongest person. Now, I guess would say is Kaido because he technically is still a person. Anyway, I digress. Jack is subordinate of King with a billion berry bounty, right? He fights the two rulers of Zoe, which are minks, which is humanoid animals. We're gonna just call them humanoid animals. And the two kings are Catstorm, Dogstorm, and Cat Viper, right? He fights them for I think 3 days straight, no breaks. And I think Cat Viper was the Sun King, and then Dogstorm was the Moon King. And when the sun set, Dogstorm pulled up. When the sun was rising, Cat Viper pulled up. So she's going at it, both of them, for 3 days straight, no breaks. He gets tired of it. He's like, yo, I'm gonna just nuke y'all, like poison y'all. And he takes Dogstorm's leg. He takes Viper's arm. And I was like, damn, that's tough. But there's a lot of details I missed out on telling you guys about. Just for the sake of the length of the video. But so I'm gonna still tell ya. Punk Hazard, we meet a kid, his name is Momonosuke. And we meet another guy, his name is Kinemon. And we meet another guy named Kanjuro. These three traveled together because they traveled 20 years into the present. Thanks to Momonosuke's mother, her name is Toki, right? We're gonna save that part for Wano, if we get to Wano. I might save Wano till it actually ends. But for right now, just know those are the facts. So they travel together to take back. They find pirates strong enough to beat Kaido. So this all ties together to Kaido, because Kaido is the ruler of Wano, which is where Momonosuke is from. Momonosuke, Kinemon, and Kanjuro. That's where they're from. So you got these three traveling. Rizzo is an ally to the three travelers. Cat Viper, and Dogstorm, they're also allies of those three because they all are under Odin. Odin was Momonosuke's father, but he was a ruler of. He was supposed to be the next Shogun of Wano, but unforeseen circumstances happened, and he couldn't become the Shogun of Wano. But we'll touch more on that later. Jack wanted Rizzo. I forgot the reason why. So that's why he ended up at Zoe. Zoe is a Zunisha. They call her Zoe. They call him or her. They call the elephant. It was a giant elephant, like 1,000-year-old elephant. But I think it's serving a lot. The details don't really matter, but it's basically a giant ass elephant named Zunisha, but we call it Zoe. In terms of the actual arc, though, it was pretty amazing because it ties together and it sets up future events. because Luffy, Zoro, and the rest of the crew eventually come to Zou. They find Zou. They actually, because it's a traveling elephant. They eventually get to Zou and climb up Zou, and it's up island of the Minks. This is where they see Sanji. No, this is where they see Nami, Chopper, and I believe Brook. But Sanji's not there. The reason why is because the Big Mom pirates are enemies of the Straw Hats because of Luffy. Luffy basically was like, he likes Fishman Island. This is my territory now. Kick rocks, basically. Big Mom did not take kind to that at all. So she had two of her men follow, and that's why the crew split up. That is why the crew split up, because Big Mom pirates were on their ass and they had to split up. So the Big Mom pirates eventually catch up to the Straw Hats that were at Zou, which were Sanji, Nami, Chopper, and Brook, and basically was like, "Yo, Sanji, you are going to be married to this shorty. This shorty's Big Mom's daughter. You're going basically going because it turns out Sanji is actually a prince. Like he's kind of a prince, but he's a part. His father is not Red Leg Zeph. His father was Vince Smoke Judge. So Sanji's name is Vince Smoke Sanji or Sanji Vince Smoke. And these guys, basically, Vince Smoke Judge and Big Mom arranged a marriage for military gain, and Sanji was the pawn in the middle of everything. So now we got so now Sanji had to go. He can't refuse because they said Big Mom said like, "Oh, they'll kill anybody that he cares about," and he cares about Red Leg Zeb. That's just kind of like basically his pops or whatever. So he agreed to go. When Luffy and the crew get there, they realize, oh, he left. Let's go save him. And Zou, it sets up everything because this is where they establish the pirate mink samurai alliance, something like that. Because Law, also forgot to mention, which is why Punk Hazard is also amazing, because Law and Luffy are now in an alliance. They want to beat Kaido. They have the same goal to beat down Kaido. At this point, it's highly likely that it could happen, but we'll get to that when we get there. But the pirates, samurai, which are Momonosuke, Kinemon, Kanjuro, Raizo, and then the Minks were Dogstorm and Cat Viper. Like they had the alliance. To plan a raid at Onigashima, which is in Wano, but we'll get to that later. So now we got all these details coming together. But they're like, yo, we gotta save our mans. We gotta go get our mans back. So they was like, yo, we can't go like guns blazing. So Zoro, he can't come. Usopp, he's too scared to go anyway because it's a Yonko, so he doesn't go. So Luffy, Nami, Chopper, and Brook. Am I missing anybody? I'm not missing anybody. Those four pull up to Whole Cake, and Whole Cake was goated. Whole Cake Island was goated because you had a lot, and I could break it down in like a whole episode. I could break it down in a whole arc, whatever. But just know this arc, this is where boys became men. Like Naruto, it was Sasuke Retrieval arc. But for Luffy's growth as an MC, as a strong person in the One Piece world, he needed this arc because he fought not one, but two Yonko commanders, Cracker and Katakuri. He increased his haki, because there's three kinds: it's observation, ornament, and conquerors. As I mentioned in I think episode 2. But he eventually basically gets strong enough to beat someone who could kind of predict the future a little bit. And the whole escaping from Big Mom was, I'm not doing this arc justice by giving it like a 2 to 3 minute synopsis, but for those who watched it, they know about it. They know what I'm talking about. This arc was straight. It wasn't the best arc by any means because it's not Marineford, it's not Wano, It's not just Rosa, but for what it did, it was greatly animated. Brook had a lot of dope ass moments, and he at this point was super slept on. But after this arc, he was the MVP of the arc. Sanji, seeing his family for the first time in years, and them all being assholes except for his sister, his twin sister, because they're all twins, but his twin sister, and the whole dynamic of everything. It was everything in this arc that you wanted, and they gave it to you in a nice package. I had a qualm that Smoothie, she was so Cracker, Smoothie, and Katakuri were the three Yonko commanders, and Snack, but Snack had lost to somebody. Oh, I think to Kid, so he got smoked by Kid. But I feel like we didn't see her a lot. So as a Yonko commander, we didn't see her at all. Like what are we doing here? But anyway, I digress with that. That was like my only qualm. And Big Mom kind of didn't do a lot as a Yonko, that she kind of like lowered my expectations. But in Wano, she makes up for it big time. We'll get to that another time. Reverie quickly, I thought it was for what it did, I thought I thought it was pretty amazing. Because you got Sabo reintroducing Sabo, a lot of the Revolutionary Army commanders and other captains and stuff. You got people that Luffy's seen along this journey coming together. So you got Rebecca, who was in Dressrosa. You got Vivi, who's in Alabasta. You got Shirahoshi, who was in Fishman Island. So you got a lot of the women, a lot of the royalty that Luffy had saved along the way. They're all women, but like, and then you just see like his like along the story, like it's a little trip down memory lane. You see Kobe's in there, that's dope. Garp's there, so like you see a lot of like dope stuff, and we don't know what they talked about because Reverie is like I think once a year or something like that. All the rulers of the countries come together and have like a big conference. But for what it did, and then we got to see the Gorosei, who are like the 5 eldest stars, and then we get to see the ruler of the Gorosei, Imu. So this art, it wasn't goated, but it was amazing. Like seeing all the details that things tied together heavily. They tied together heavily. Wano, I'm gonna put it right next to Marineford, bro. And half of it is recency bias. Not gonna cap. But the other half is this story. It's almost done. But for what I've read, it's half of it's animated, but for what I've read, this is on par with Marineford. A lot, like Straw Hats get their shine. Like what we've wanted for years now at this point, we finally get. We finally see. I ain't gonna spoil anything. Just if it comes out in the anime, just know it's gonna be amazing. But if you haven't watched One Piece, watch it. Give it a fair chance. You know, for me, for your boy Shabazz, give it a fair chance. And that is all we have for today. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, tell a friend to tell a friend, and I'll see you guys next time. Watch One Piece. It's awesome. You won't regret it. Peace.